answers are inside. Yeah, I am a 21st century superhuman. Now is the time. Come on everyone, let's celebrate. We are the children of the sun. I can see you when I look into your eyes. We are the same, we are light, yeah, we are one. Here now, hear my ancient prayer and sing along. We are awakening as one. And we can make a difference. Yeah, we can be the change it takes to make the world.
Hi, I'm Cary, Ellis, author of 21st Century Superhuman, and this is our 21st Century Superhuman show. This is a special show, part 4 of a series called 10 critical things you must know to be a 21st Century Superhuman. And today we are going to talk about dolphin codes and heart coherence, 2 really important things. I actually am in Costa Rica, and I have had the privilege lately of going out with wild dolphins here, which has been really great and wonderful fun. I took people to swim with dolphins for about 10 or 12 years in the Florida Keys and the Yucatan back in the late 80s, early 90s, and that probably was one of the most profound experiences of my life. It literally changed my neurobiology, and it made me begin to operate in a superhuman way, which we call a multidimensional fashion. One of the reasons we're so magnetically drawn to dolphins is because they live in all brainwave frequencies at the same time. They're operating in those concurrently. They are conscious breathers. They don't actually sleep like we do. Half of their brain needs to shut down and go to sleep while the other half stays awake. To help them consciously breathe. This is amazing. And some of the ancient Dogon petroglyphs in Africa show us that dolphins literally may have come from Sirius. It shows a dolphin-like being showing up in a spaceship, spraying water onto the ground, and then getting out with a tail like a dolphin and being in the water and speaking to them and teaching them. It's often said that in the circles that I've operated in is that dolphins and whales both came from other dimensions of time and space, other planets, other star systems, and chose to be on Earth to help hold the Earth's frequencies, to help keep us waking up. And in that process, they chose to live in the ocean where there's no boundaries. There are no laws. Now we have, fishing nets and all these complicated things that are damaging. But their lives are much more free than they would have been on literal Terra. So dolphins and whales live in multiple brainwave frequencies at the same time: alpha, beta, delta, theta, and gamma, which is the really fast dolphin wave burst. Just checking my volume here. So this is really one of the things that attracts us to them, because when we are in multiple brainwave frequencies at the same time, we are accessing things like hands-on healing, channeling, our psychic ability, all of these supernatural or superhuman abilities that we consider maybe paranormal, but really are our natural state. So why is it that we need to go and train with dolphins and be with dolphins and whales in order to relearn how to access this state? Well, there's a lot of things that happen in our stressful civilization, and we begin pushing ourselves through stress, through focus on things outside of love, such as materialism. When we think that something that we need to get is more important than our heart and our soul, and we get driven to go out and make money and make more money and make more money so that we can buy things and have more things, and we get lost in that cycle and we don't even remember why we're there really. And we're actually beginning to come out of, because of where we're moving in the cosmos, we are moving into greater fields of light, and it is making us begin to wake up to this awareness within ourselves that maybe we don't need these material things so much, that maybe it's been a distraction from who we really are and what we're really here to do and be on planet Earth, which is conscious, awake, loving, divine beings who are literally creating with our thoughts. And we go into that in a lot of the other videos in this series, how our thoughts create, how we're literally living in this quantum world. But to just stick to this point that when we go into these multiple brainwave frequencies, we are accessing paranormal superhuman states. As our Jedi teacher from 21st Century Superhuman, Ken Chorley, says, when we merge with the elements, we merge with the wind, we merge with this field that we live in, we begin to access this ancient coding in ourselves that is about being aligned with the flow of source creation energy, which is always bringing forth not just manifestation, but as our friend Bill Ballard has started saying, materialization. So we literally are able to materialize from this world anything that we need. Now, this is a huge leap from where we've been living in the 3D power over civilization that has kept us separated from the aspects of ourselves that understand and know how to be these multidimensional beings. So dolphins and whales, when we're with them, they are literally downloading codes to us to help us access these portions of our DNA, to reawaken the portions of our DNA. You know, it said only 10% of our DNA is active, or we have 90% junk, 97% junk DNA, 90%. We use 5% of our brain. And this is really because probably over the last thousands of years, maybe even hundreds of thousands of years, we've opted out of knowing that we are creator beings. And we have stepped into these power over civilizations that run in blame, fear, judgment, hostility, and control. And all of those things are outside of love. So dolphins and whales, when we spend time with them and we get close to them, are really teaching us how to realign with those aspects of ourselves that open us up to being in this continual stream of creative love from within ourselves, so that we can truly access what source is sending us in the field, which is a continual flow of joyful, creative energy. So in light of this, it's really critical that we remember to live from our hearts. Our hearts are, there's an organization out in California called HeartMath Institute, and they've developed a whole science around something called heart coherence. And literally, when we are at 21 days in uterus, when we're just a fetus within our mother's womb, our heart is activated at 21 days of life. And when that heart is activated, a torus field is formed, which is the never-ending kind of donut-shaped energy field that is self-perpetuating. And as Nassim Haramein says, our universe is torus field within torus field within torus field. So this is a magnetic gravitational field that is an endless flow of power, creation, and life force. It's really what we're designed to operate from. And this is what's so exciting about heart coherence and about what dolphins and whales align us with. So us learning how to go back into heart coherence, because again, in our modern culture, living separated from Pachamama, as she is called in South America, or Mother Gaia, as modern science has named our Mother Earth, this living being that we are part of, because we've separated ourselves from that by living in cars and with telephones and computers and these really structured houses, and wearing shoes that have rubber on the bottom, and wearing heavy clothes, and being out of the sun and out of the natural daylight, getting up in the morning, going into our kitchen, getting our breakfast, hopping into the car, going off to a job or something similar, taking kids to school, driving, going and sitting inside someplace again, and then driving back home and sitting on the couch or making our meals, maybe going out for a walk. But we've kind of created these lives that are with this materialistic culture that have just pulled us away. Well, hello there. My internet just dropped out for a second. Interesting moment at which it did. But one of the things we're looking at is how we've set ourselves up in a civilization which is more designed around materialism than our natural flow with the earth. And not to say we couldn't become a progressive modern society, but it incorporates more of our connection with earth, with our hearts, with who we truly are. And this is what we're looking for in waking up our DNA. And this is how the dolphins download codes to us. This is how we learn what happens when we're in the stressful materialistic civilization is we begin going into a narrower and narrower band of brain coherence and of heart coherence, and also brainwave frequencies. So we tend to operate in beta, which is what I call coffee mind, where we're just go, go, go. Our mind is going really fast. We're, thinking about the shopping list and what we have to do and what we need to get done today, who we're going to have a merger with or whatever. And, this whole like beta mind. And then right under that is if we meditate every day, and meditation has been shown to have an effect that it activates our anti-aging hormone by up to 30%, 2 months of meditation. So we have a really great meditation in the book, 21st Century Superhuman, in part 2, Mind. Our 21st Century Superhuman meditation is there. If you don't have our book yet, I really recommend you get it. It's on Kindle and Amazon. Visit our website, 21stcenturysuperhuman.com, and get to know all the cool things we're doing, going on trips and adventures. And we've got a lot of classes that we're beginning to load there. So you don't have to make it to my workshop in the place where I am in the world, but you get to learn all the things that I'm teaching and our Jedi Master Ken is teaching. And Teddy, the contributor to the book, will be doing a lot of health and food things. So please join us there. Anyway, our 21st Century Superhuman meditation, which is in the book in part 2, Mind, teaches us how to literally cancel and release all of our old data that's been holding us in this old program, we'll call it. It's just like a computer program. And we need to defrag the computer and get rid of anything inside of us from our generations outside of love. And again, this is in a lot of the other videos in this series because it's really critical information. If we had known this 2,000 years ago, we'd be living in a completely different civilization right now. But instead, we're getting to go through this wake-up process where, as Graham Hancock tells us from our ancient prehistory and the book Hamlet's Mill, we're literally moving into greater fields of light. We're waking up out of these materialistic power over civilizations, and we're saying, wow, I'm an amazing creator being designed to operate in love. What does my heart really want today? How does my heart want to live? How would I like to express myself? And this is a whole new exploration. It doesn't just happen by accident. It's a practice where we have to learn to listen. And getting to be in the field with dolphins, we can come out of these narrow brainwave frequencies that we've been operating in our hurry, 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 go, go civilization. And even some of the simpler cultures are starting to copy us, and they're doing the same thing. Probably not to the extent, though. And I see it in the people down here in in Costa Rica, Peru, Mexico. Some of them are getting into that stressful modern, I've got to work harder and get this and get that. And what we're having to really learn is to breathe and smile and listen to our hearts and relax into what is called heart coherence. But it's also a kind of brain coherence where we can learn to go from just being in beta mind or the alpha brainwave frequencies, which we go into in meditation. The Tibetan monks actually drop down into theta, and it is between alpha and theta where we really hit an expanded level of consciousness. And then delta is the deep brainwave state, but it's deep unconditional love. And then gamma are these fast bursts of really genius. And it's when our left and right hemispheres are talking to each other, and we are able to accelerate our conscious waking state. So immersing ourselves with dolphins and whales, just being in their presence, or we can even call them in our meditations. What they're doing is literally activating us by entraining us to their more wide open brainwave frequency patterns. And because they live in these multiple brainwave frequency patterns, they're magnetic to us, because something in us is hungry for this level of being within ourselves. And it's why it's so joyful to be with them. It's why it's joyful to play with them, go out and, hoot and holler when they're leaping out of the water, or they're following along with the boat, or we actually get to be in the water with them and hear them pinging us. They're literally teaching us and training us, activating our DNA codes to remember how to operate in this multidimensional, multi-brainwave frequency. And this is something we're all going to have to learn how to do if we want to be fifth dimensional, fourth dimensional to fifth dimensional and beyond, sixth and seventh. So as we begin to increase, which just means our frequency is moving faster, our cellular frequency, our vibrational soul frequency is able to operate at a faster rate in this field here, which is kind of a dense old 3D world that we have been familiar with for so long. So it's literally like being in a hologram. It's literally like running a computer program and having to clean out the old data from the computer. So how does this coalesce with heart coherence? And this is what the HeartMath Institute has come up with. They literally have demonstrated in a petri dish that when we go into what is called heart coherence, which is love, compassion, and gratitude, breathing, smiling, offloading any old data outside of love. If something comes up, we're irritated, we're unhappy, we think we see somebody else being some way, really all they're doing is mirroring something inside of us. So we look at our own old data and say, that's something for me to get rid of today. And we let go. Cancel, release, and let go is what it says in the Aramaic. Any of this old data that's been stored in us that's resonating in our field. And we begin to breathe, smile, center in love. And we go into, HeartMath Institute actually puts out a little clip that you can put on your ear, a little biofeedback mechanism. And they actually have it for cell phones now, where you can download an app and it will give you biofeedback to tell you if you're in heart coherence. And I've played on their little older mechanism quite a bit and really loved it. It taught me exactly when I was going into heart coherence. I go into heart coherence when I write, because it's my inner connected state. And I'm sure I'm accessing the greater field at that point. I've discovered where in my meditations I go into heart coherence. I go in when I'm giving myself to the source field, and I'm literally going out of physical form, out into wave form, out of particle form, into wave form, out of wave form, to be at one with the field. When I do that, which is our 21st Century Superhuman meditation, a part of it, I literally go into heart coherence there. I go into heart coherence with a mantra that I've used for years. So using this biofeedback mechanism, if you can afford to get one, they're $100 or $150 or something. You can use it with your friends, even maybe share it with a friend, or because you don't need, once you've used it a few weeks, you get it. You get how your own being is operating to go into heart coherence. So learning how to go into heart coherence teaches us, and we're doing it when we're breathing and smiling, we're centering in love, we're offloading our old data, and we're centering in love, compassion, and gratitude. And as we do those things, we enter this amazing superhuman state. So how do we become a superhuman? These are really important keys. Einstein says, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it very well yourself. And you know what? This is totally true. These things are so simple. They are quantum physics. They were taught to us in the ancient Aramaic. They align with what the ancients predicted, that we would be in the shift of the ages, the greatest evolutionary leap in human history, that we are literally waking up because we're being pushed by these greater fields of light that even NASA says that we're in. And as we're being pushed by the greater fields of light, our DNA is being activated, our cells are being activated, our memory of how to be these incredibly beautiful creator beings who operate in love. And as we learn to respond to our own hearts, follow our own visions and dreams, is really what each of us is here for. They say there's 2 paths to enlightenment. One is to honor yourself, and the other is to serve others. And I believe that we're being called to do both right now. We have a world that is out of balance in some ways because of how we've chosen to live for so long outside of love. And it is this return to our alignment with who we're designed to be, breathing, smiling, offloading any old data, entering into love, entering into heart coherence, love, compassion, gratitude, learning from the dolphins through our visions and dreams, through getting to be with them personally. And I'll be doing some trips going to be with dolphins, which you're welcome to join me on. And as we learn how to open this multi-dimensional, multi-brainwave frequency capability that we have to live in multiple brainwave frequencies at the same time. Once you learn these things, you begin to operate in new ways, and you become a seeder of the new civilization on planet Earth. A lot of the young ones coming in, if you have children or grandchildren, you'll notice how magical they are. And many of them are coming in now to carry forward the new civilization that we are activating. And it's been a lot of hard work over the last 40, 50, 100 years, with people beginning to wake up, and even, a couple of thousand years before that, Yeshua, Buddha, Zoroaster, many great masters. Those 3 literally used the ancient Aramaic language, which teaches us these things. Aramaic is a quantum language, and some of the main religions and languages on the planet came from the Aramaic. It was grounded as a complete language around 6000 BC. Around the same time, Egypt was initiated by a more advanced civilization. It did not grow, it basically popped up. So the languages that came from Aramaic are Hebrew, Sanskrit, Arabic, Polynesian, and Lakota. How amazing is that? Even Ho'oponopono, which I never pronounced right, you can correct me, comes from these ancient Aramaic principles. I love you, I'm sorry. I breathe and smile. The aloha breath, I take a breath with you. And we breathe in the same air. We smile at each other. We greet each other with our being open, our neurobiology. So if you'll remember to breathe and smile, offload any data that comes to you outside of love. If you're seeing a mirroring in your world that isn't fun, just say, I now cancel, release, and let this go. And I return to love within myself. And once this becomes a daily practice, it becomes easy. It really does. It's so hard at first because we want to think it's somebody else's fault out there. And there's never anything that's anybody else's fault. We just have to say, hey, that's a mirroring of me. What do I need to get out the broom and dustpan and clean out of myself, or the sword, or whatever? And as we do these things, we begin awakening ourselves to this new heart coherent, love, compassion, gratitude, multi-brainwave frequency, beta, alpha, theta, delta, gamma, multi-dimensional being capability. So these are critical keys to how we become a 21st century superhuman. Please practice them on a daily basis. Follow me on Facebook, Cary, Kirastar, Ellis. Come to visit our website, 21stcenturysuperhuman.com, and join us on this journey. We're here to serve you, to serve ourselves, the joy of our own hearts, and the balancing of a loving human civilization that can live together in peace on our beautiful planet, to very quickly correct the mistakes that have been made. It doesn't have to take a long time. As a collective of us emerges to this new level of being, things are going to change faster than you can imagine, because literally it's already done. All right, everybody, love you so much. Many blessings. Breathe and smile. Aloha. Ciao. Adios. See you soon.